On this episode, we'll learn about the tradition of Keahiakawelo. Much like Kaulula'au, Kawelo, a prophet from Lānaʻi, exhibited heroism and bravery. Let's get right into the Moʻolelo. The tradition of Keahiakawelo was first recorded in 1868 in Kanupepa Ku'oko'a, a Hawaiian language newspaper. The author was known by the pen name Maka'ainana Aloha. The author describes Lani Kaula, a kaula or prophet on Moloka'i that was put to death by a prophet from Lānaʻi. He was buried at Pu'ohoku in the uplands of Moloka'i in the grove of kukui trees that now bears his name. Tutu Papa and Tutu Mama, Daniel and Hattie Kaupuiki, natives of Lānaʻi, recalled the account of Keahiakawelo in an interview done in 1972. They noted that the priests Kawelo and Lani Kaula kept their fires burning on their respective islands to protect their people from one another's prayers. Kawelo learned that Lani Kaula went through great lengths to dispose of his excrement on the islet of Mokuho'oniki, an islet offshore of Halawa on the east end of Moloka'i. Kawelo crafted a plan to steal some of Lani Kaula's excrement in order to put the Moloka'i prophet to death. Under the cover of darkness, Kawelo paddled to Mokuho'oniki and fetched some of Lani Kaula's excrement. He hid it in a hollowed-out uala, or sweet potato, and carried it back to Lānaʻi. Upon returning to Lānaʻi, Kawelo placed the excrement on his ahu, his fire altar, and began his prayers and incantations. The smoke burned a dark purple-black that traveled across the slopes of Ka'a, the northern part of Lānaʻi. The smoke was heavy and could be seen from Moloka'i. When Lani Kaula observed the smoke from his home on Moloka'i, he knew that he was going to perish. It was also noted that the ohia trees in the region of Kanepu'u, adjacent to Keahiakawelo, were covered with a dark smoke, and the blossoms of the ohia, the lehua, turned to a dark purple color. Tutu Papa and Tutu Mama Kaupuiki, natives of Lānaʻi, reminisced about the last time that they observed the growth of ohia that produced the po lehua, the dark purple lehua. Unfortunately, these trees were destroyed by invasive goats. The recollection of this beautiful lehua blossom was commemorated in a chant published in 1864 that was written by Kamehameha V, Lat Kapuaiwa, as a lament for Kamehameha IV, Alexander Iolani Liholiho, his brother. It reads, Le'akui na lehua o Keahiakawelo e, adorned with a lei of lehua blossoms of Keahiakawelo. In contemporary times, many have applied the incorrect name Garden of the Gods to the region of Keahiakawelo and its surrounding areas. Garden of the Gods was a nickname applied to the area after the visit to Lānaʻi of an American writer, Alexander Hume Ford. Ford published an article in the August 1912 issue of Mid-Pacific magazine that referred to Keahiakawelo as Hawaii's Garden of the Gods. This was a reference to the similarities in the landscape of Keahiakawelo to that of the area referred to as Garden of the Gods in Colorado on the American continent. This so-called Garden of the Gods also has its own traditional names attached to it. The landscape that exists at Keahiakawelo today, however, is not the natural landscape of the area. What we see today is a direct result of a little over 150 years of overgrazing by introduced and invasive animals. This led to erosion and loss of topsoil, exposing the large boulders and stripping the land of its native vegetation. Unfortunately, many endemic plant and bird species were susceptible to loss of habitation and have suffered extinction. There are many other place names on Lānaʻi that are now referred to as names that are not traditional. With the suppression of Hawaiian language and culture that were a result of colonization, indigenous knowledge, traditions, and nomenclature were abandoned to make way for pseudonames that are easier to remember and to pronounce. Ancestral place names, however, inform us of conditions of the landscape as well as perpetuate traditions of those that came before us. These traditions serve to remind us of important values. The Moʻolelo of Keahiakawelo, for example, purveys the value of mālama, to exercise care over the land, those that we love, ourselves, and possessions, both those of ourselves and of others. A prominent Olelo no Eau, or wise saying, reminds us, A'ohe mālama pau ka'iole, when one takes care of one's possessions, one will not suffer loss. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Until next time, e mālama, ahui ho.